there, lovely people, and welcome to Messages from the Heart, where we can take some time out from the constant external noise and just take a moment to focus inward and listen to the quiet and ever-present voice of our heart. So the message for today may seem like a bit of an old message, because I know I've spoken about it a lot, but it has an actual... Yes, it is an old message, but it has a new take on it, shall we say, for me. And I just thought it was important to share this. And this might have been sparked off by today is a fairly big birthday for me. And it's caused me to think about how do I consciously want to move forward in this next stage of my life. And so the message is the importance and the impact of our thinking and our thoughts and how that affects our life and our health and our well-being and our relationships and everything. And so I've been listening to a couple of podcasts by a man, I forget his name, his first name, but his surname is Rodriguez. And he's been talking about this thing called a mental diet. It actually is a thing. The mental diet actually is a thing. And it's really sparked a chord with me because we hear over and over again about what the problems are in our life, what we should do. We see them analysed and what they mean and how often things go back to childhood and all of that kind of stuff. But not often do we hear, well, what actually can we do about it? Because we often hear, and there's a lot of information about this, about our thoughts create our reality. And I talk about this a lot in yoga and in always in lots of areas of my work. And so for those of you who may not be aware, our body, every cell in our body reacts to every thought that we have. And be they in a positive or a negative way, be they in a healthy way or an unhealthy way. And science says that we have around about 70,000 thoughts a day, and that most of these thoughts are redundant or negative. So if this is true, then we have a lot of power over what happens to our body. And this, negative thoughts, as we know, affect our health and wellness. They affect how we relate to ourselves, our relationship with ourselves. They affect how we relate to others in our life, how we relate to our work, and just how we are in life and our general life. So if we can do that, then the opposite of that is also true. So keeping that in mind, so this thing called a mental diet is actually a huge topic, and maybe I will speak more about this in the future. But for now, the thing that really sparked a chord with me was a sentence which allowed me to instantly be able to do something about any negative thoughts that I might have. So it wasn't a complicated process. It's just a choice that we make, and it's a sentence that we can easily say to ourselves. And the sentence is that when we find ourselves thinking something like a low vibrational thought, or a thought that we don't feel good about, makes us not feel good about ourselves, or we don't feel good about someone else. So there's nothing wrong with having these thoughts. I would just like to qualify that first. There's nothing wrong with having these thoughts. We're human. We're going to have those thoughts. The important thing is not to dwell in those thoughts. It's also important not to just stuff those feelings down and those thoughts. There's all these processes, other processes that I've spoken about that are important to go through. But something that is really impacted me a lot, as I say, this sentence. So if we catch ourselves thinking something of a low vibrational thought about ourselves or anybody else, the sentence is, evolve the meaning or change the thought. Because life for us personally, and the interpretation of that life and how we live our life and how we feel about that life, how we experience our life, is the meaning that we give to every little thing that happens, to every little thought that we have. It's the meaning. It may not be the meaning that other people give to the same thing, generally not, but it's the meaning that we give to thoughts, events, situations, to people that creates the feeling, creates the situation, and all of that. So again, the sentence, evolve the meaning or change the thought. Now, I had a really excellent example of this happen in my life, literally the day after I listened to that podcast. And I woke up in the morning with this thought. I was thinking about this person, and it wasn't, I felt like I was judging this person, and I felt like I've been doing this for a while, and I didn't like doing that, didn't want to stop, but it seemed like thoughts had a life of their own and they kept happening. So I remembered, okay, evolve the meaning or change the thought. And at that moment, I didn't feel I could evolve the meaning. I couldn't think of how to evolve the meaning. But then I heard a noise outside my balcony, and I thought, all right, change the thought, have a look, what's happening out there. And there were workmen outside my balcony putting new roofs on the carports. So that got me interested in that. And then with that, the other thought went, and then I went about my business. And that was a really good living example for me of how that can be done. So I'll repeat that. When we're feeling a low vibrational thought, thinking a low vibrational thought, low vibrational feeling, that's not to ignore or, because that's another process about feelings and thoughts, not to judge ourselves for having them. It's okay, we're going to have them. The importance is not to dwell in those thoughts and evolve the meaning if we can, if not, change the thought. And doing that puts us in a different feeling state. And then we can go about doing the other resolutions that we might have to do around a situation, depending on how severe it is, depending on if we're sweating the small stuff, just let it go, whatever. But that actually then changes our feeling state and gives us more mental clarity. Okay, so I hope this has been helpful for you and that it has made sense for you. And just before I go, I would like to just give a little gentle reminder about my upcoming trilogy quest, Happiness as an Inside Job. So deliberately I called it Happiness as an Inside Job instead of is, because that gives us the choice to live in happiness or not. But we're going to go into some amazing stuff. I'm beyond excited about this trilogy quest, and I've got some amazing information to share and some new teaching techniques that I wish to impart. And I'm really coming from the point of view of not simply learning. I mean, learning is great, but transformation. How are we transforming our life? Like, we can do lots and lots of workshops and we can learn lots of things, but what changes does that bring about in our life? And so that's one of my larger focuses on this trilogy quest. So I invite you that if you are interested to please book, because it's getting close now and spaces are limited. I've got this wonderful venue. It's Dreamweaver Yoga Sanctuary. So it's a beautiful yoga room, amazing, calm, peaceful energy. Really looking forward to working in that room with you. And it's on Springbank Road at Clapham. But please go to my page, and I've shared it a lot on there. So Happiness as an Inside Job. If you can't find it, just feel free to message me after this video and I will contact you with the details. All right, as always, thank you so much for your time. Let's love ourselves enough to do this. Ciao for now, and much love.